Actually,
I'll allow it.
technically, I'm in Jersey.
Oh yeah,
Right now, I'm
right
in
on.
Jersey.
The one of the most unfairly maligned U.S. states. I feel. Nothing but love in my heart for New Jersey.
Right, time to start. Hello, everybody. Welcome to Opencv Weekly Webinar. And today we have with us Jose Benitez, who is not only a course taker of actually many of our courses, but he has also built a business, an actual product which competes with Amazon Go. It's a wonderful thing that somebody has taken this initiative and created a product. This is, as you know, in retail, we have this new movement where we want to create retail just grab and go, right? You just grab a product and go, and your credit card would be automatically charged based on what you have grabbed. So that's a solution that Jose and his team has built, and we'll learn a lot about that product today. Also with us is Phil Nelson, who is the director of content and creative, which spells out as doc for Opencv. Welcome, Phil, and then we'll go to Jose for a more detailed introduction.
That's right. Good morning, everybody. Once again, it is I, the co-host with the co-most, the second banana who is second to none, your plus one and only, and I'm here to remind you about a few things we do every week here on Opencv Weekly Webinar, one of which is a special giveaway to you in the audience. One lucky winner later in the show, if they answer a trivia question correctly, will win a free Opencv course. Also, use the little Q&A button at any time during the webinar for the Zoom audience to ask a question if you have one. We'll try to flow it into conversation. If we can't get to it during the show, we'll try to reserve some time at the end to ask those questions there. Satya?
It's great. So yeah, Jose, actually, we can begin with a quick introduction of yourself, and then we'll go over the slides and learn about the beautiful product you're building.
Perfect. So, hi all. Thank you so much for inviting me on this. I'm so excited to be here to share what we are doing at Intuitivo regarding machine learning and computer vision. So, thank you for this opportunity. Let's get started.
Yeah, before we get started, I want to understand a little background, your background. A lot of people keep saying, sometimes I hear a lot of people saying things like, oh, I'm from India. I don't have the same opportunities as, somebody who is in the United States. And that's true. But I want to know about your background, because people succeed. We are in a world where people can succeed in spite of the location. I 100% agree that some locations have a huge advantage, but that doesn't mean that we are just restricted to that location, right? So a little background would be great.
Yeah,
where you're
sure.
from, where you did your schooling, etc.
Yeah, so I'm from Paraguay, in the heart of South America. It's a small country in South America. I study electrical engineering. I am an electrical engineer. So here in Latin America, we have like a big challenge in terms of education, in opportunities, and even that we are able to do things like that we do because we really have talents here, and I think we have talents around the world, and I hope I inspire with my history because I started in Paraguay. Our startup is from Argentina, but I'm from Paraguay. My partner, my co-founders are from Argentina. But even though we are able to build a great product here that I want to share with you.
That's great. And also, as you decide to, when you go over the slides, it would be good to know this is not a trivial problem that you're solving. It's a difficult, right? It is a difficult problem. So yes, walk us when you go through the slides. Also tell us, what inspired you to take on this very challenging problem. So we want to learn about your story. Yeah, the show is yours. Take it from here.
Great. So I will start sharing my presentation. In 2019, we started Intuitivo with the idea that we want to change retail and here in Latin America because we see a huge opportunity here. especially with autonomous point of sale, because we start exploring the market of vending machines, right? If you think about vending machines, you can take an example for Japan, and when you have one every machine in every 10 people, in every 20 people, sorry, in every 20 people, so that's a lot, right?
So
And if
that's in
you,
Japan, one vending machine for 20 people?
yeah, in Japan.
Wow.
So you go outside your house and you have a vending machine probably, right?
They're known for their next level vending machine tech in Japan for sure.
Exactly.
Like pretty much everything you can get in a vending machine. It's pretty badass.
Exactly. And another thing is that, and for the other side, you have, for example, in the USA, you have one vending machine in every 50 people, or in Spain, you have one every machine in every 30 people. But here in South America, we don't have real numbers, but we have an estimation that we have one vending machine in every 3,000 people. So we have a lot to do here in Latin America and also in the world, and I will explain later why without the technology this will be possible. So I'm gonna make a quick introduction within what we are doing in Intuitivo, right? Despite we are working with retail, we are a computer and AI, and we are a computer vision company actually, and we are trying to do a one-on-one shopping experience for what we call the future of retail. And how we do this with grab and goes. So basically, we transfer any coolers or any cabinets into autonomous grab and go. And how you may ask how we transfer the coolers or their cabinets. We just have a simple kit where we add 3 cameras, 1 lock, and 1 box, which is a CPU, a custom CPU, which is connected to the internet and then send the videos and basically that's has the kit. You can put the cameras in your fridge or in your cabinet and convert automatically into a smart grab and go. Just that.
It's really interesting because some of the other solutions I've seen in this space, they want to sell you the whole freezer. You know, they want to sell
Exactly.
you the whole unit. But what's neat about this is that if you're a business owner, you probably already have your place set up how you like it. Like you probably don't want to have to rearrange everything to set up
Exactly.
this new stuff, and so you can just retrofit what you've already got there, which I think is really a cool way to go about it.
Yeah, and this actually this is great because you don't need to like you don't need to change anything in the cooler on the fridge. You just have to put this camera, put your products, and that's it. And let's understand better how the user journey is, right? It's basically like, as Satya said, it's like Amazon Go, right? You scan a QR code, but we don't have an app. We have a web app. You don't have to download any app. You scan a QR code, the same that you see here. And then you open a web app where you see the catalog. And also if the retailer have some promotion, you can see there are some promotions. And then you can add, just for the first time, you can add your payment method. You can connect with your wallet, or your debit card or credit card, and then the cooler unlocks. You can grab whatever you want, take one product, return another, and then close the door, and you will be charged automatically a few minutes later. When you open the door, it scans the QR code. You open the door, the camera start recording, and when you close the door, stop recording and send to the cloud, and all the magic happens there. So that is basically how Intuitivo grab and go works, and we really think that we are able to put these grab and goes in all the locations in Latin America and in the world. And I will start this slide with a simple question, right? Why computer vision, right? When you are working with images and when you are working with videos, you'll well, obviously you are going to work with computer vision, right? And you see, probably I will put a video in a fridge and I will pass the video from some object detection, and I can detect some product, and that's it. and I can see a Coca there, I can see a pizza. So we are able to solve the world. So we can put a lot of machine there and we solve the problem, right?
Yeah.
But in reality, it's not like that. It's more complex than like just.
If only it was
Yeah,
so
if only,
simple.
right? Yeah. What if?
I had
But
when I was starting in computer vision, somebody I was explaining what computer vision is to somebody, and they said that, well, just put a camera connect a camera to your computer. Will that not work? Right?
yeah,
So they fail
exactly.
to understand that connecting the camera to the computer doesn't mean that it is interpreting the images. And it was quite a challenge because for people who don't understand technology, it's quite a challenge to make them understand this.
Yeah, exactly. Because you think that you solve all your problems with just applying one model or applying some techniques, but it's not always like that, right? So so we have to create like a more complex solution, and that we call our transaction pipeline. We created really a set of their pipeline for a computer vision problem. So I have to learn some sensitive information here in the video also. But this is some of the demo that we made with the team. Actually, he's part of the team. As you saw, we try to simulate some trivial situation, right? For example, with one hand you had a Corona that you already buy, and in another hand you will take another new Corona from the fridge and currently add to the shopping cart, right? So then you say again, so we solve the problem. We can put millions of machines, and that looks awesome, right? And then try to simulate
And
another.
it's Corona, the beer, not the virus.
That's
Yeah.
right. I'd hope so. It
Yeah.
looked like Corona Extra.
Looked like a beer.
Yeah. Yeah. But actually, I have to say that we had to make like in the onboarding process in the web app, you have to validate your identity if you want to buy beers. So that's important.
Yeah, that makes
to
sense.
mention.
Because what's the age when you can buy alcohol in Argentina?
18.
18. That's what I thought.
Yeah, 18. And you have to upload your selfie with your ID and make some checks before you buy something. So that's important to mention because
I'd like
we are going to see. We are going to see a
draw
lot of
people's
alcohol.
attention to also one of the things that you're doing, which is a great best practice, which is blurring people's faces before you send it up to the cloud to help keep their face private.
Yeah, we keep that seriously. I mean, we are not able to see. This one is this video is part of the team, no problem. But we are working with sensitive information. We don't even are able to see the people's faces because this is data compliance. So we have to be careful of that also, right? So this is another testing that we made with the team. That actually this is my co-founder Tomas, and he's trying to take one product in one hand and return the product and take another product and successfully add to the shopping cart, right? And you say, yes, we are covering more cases and we can go again to millions of machines, but
problem solved.
Yeah, problem solved again, right? But then we ask like the main question, right? Which is, how do you solve real world problems with AI, right? How do you start solving with your problem, not just simulating or not just trying to imitate some behaviors? And this is huge for us because the big deploy here in Latin America changed everything. And this is because we start working with real people, with real data, and we have real behaviors. So this really changed everything for us. And we have to redesign our pipeline. We have to not just a few models. We have to design an end-to-end pipeline in order to understand the context and not just image by image. You have to understand what happens in all the video, right? So data changed everything for us. And as you see in this first video, as you can see in this first video, we're going to see like more features probably in this video. And here's the first thing, that the user takes the product at the top of it, and to check two products in one hand is a complex task, because in one camera it's occluded, in another you can see you don't see anything, in another you see others. So this changed everything. And also the time of the product appearing is so small that you have to think on a lot of things, right? So it's taking I think 8 products.
Oh yeah, grabbing 2 at a time. That's a unique problem.
Yeah.
So I see you got some semantic segmentation going here as well, it looks like.
Yeah. All the network is already doing that. And also a complex track on the product also. And I think it succeeds. You have like 8 products edited correctly. And when you see those cases, you said problem solved again, right? But then you start seeing another case, right? Which is, for example, people I mean, in a traditional vending machine, you just can one pushers at the same time, right? I mean, if you want one Coke, you just grab one Coke and then you
push the button. Yeah,
exactly. But when you open the fridge, you have all the product. I mean, you can take all if you want. Maybe you have the money, right? And so I don't know, is there a party around this condominium? But this guy is taking a lot of Antarctica, which is super common in Brazil. This is a real vending machine, a video grab and go in Brazil. And actually, I think, okay, now it's taking more than expected, right?
Right.
Yeah, so it's a it's a lot of products. And you say, how I can solve a thing like that? I can simulate something like that. Right. So and then we have figured out how we can treat our data in order to improve our pipeline also.
Right.
But the thing is that problems appears always. So as you can see in the next video, I think I measured to Satya once. The first time I talked to him, I mentioned that we have a video with a dog inside. So this is a funny video because it's a dog inside the video, right?
Right.
I mean, and I will ask you a question. And are you able to simulate this?
Right. No.
So you won't be able to simulate this like ever, because imagine that those fridges are in condominium. So people can do whatever they want.
Right.
Hold his dog, or whatever.
Let's not forget the ever popular bodega cats. That some of these stores just have, you know, cats kind of wandering around.
Yeah, exactly. And
can I ask a question? Before the system was implemented, right? So in the United States, you have vending machines, right? Where you put in the credit card, you don't need anything else, right? They basically pay, because they have credit card information, you can just choose whichever product you want, right? But here it seems that these are not actually vending machines, these are refrigerators, right? Exactly. And they want to convert these refrigerators into sort of a vending machine, right? Where people can easily grab and go. Now, before the system was implemented, how did they service these vending machines? Was there somebody physically present right there to look at these vending machines? How did these vending machines operate? No, sorry, how did
how did they pay and stuff?
Yeah, operate before this?
Yeah, for traditional vending machine, they operate with estimations. They have like they put the products in the vending machine and they have estimations, depends of the locations. Actually, they have a lot of data about estimation and consumption.
Right.
But it's all about estimation, right? And they have to be in place in order to know what product you have to fill. And they carry with them the products, but they don't know exactly what products you have to fill it. So
Right.
with this
Inventory is
case, you
a
have
difficult problem when you're you just have
exactly,
to guess. You have to make really good guesses.
yeah. And in this case, for the first time, you are going to have like real data, real stock in real time,
Right.
and also you can know how is the best routing for the different locations or your grab and goes. And also for the first time, you are going to have like a one-on-one conversation with the user, with your
Mm.
customer, because this is something that probably the retailer doesn't have the opportunity, or the brands doesn't have the opportunity to have the direct conversation with their customers. It's always an intermediary. Through this technology, you are going to be able to do that.
So my question was originally that these things appear to be there, right? Because you're collecting real data. These refrigerators were already there before your solution came along, right?
No,
Oh, they were not putting these refrigerators.
no. Yeah. No. This is they put it and then started to collecting data.
Got it. Okay. Okay.
Without technology, yeah.
Okay.
Because
So
without that
reduces the price, because these refrigerators probably are much cheaper than say vending machines, right?
exactly.
And you're
Yeah,
putting these vision sensors, etc., which is probably also even with these vision sensors, etc., the whole system is much cheaper than a real
exactly.
vending machine, right?
Exactly.
Okay.
Well,
And
yeah,
this
there's no moving parts. You don't have to worry about motors and maintenance and stuff like
exactly.
this. Stuff getting stuck against the window, which everybody I think has had happen to them and been mad about.
Right. And
Yes.
then there are these other companies also, right? Sometimes in offices, etc., there are external companies who come and usually in some offices, all these products are free for use. People can come and drink as much Diet Coke they want, but there is still the refilling issue that an external company comes and refills these products in the fridge. And for them to know what needs to be refilled, this kind of technology can be really useful.
Exactly.
Okay.
Exactly. Yeah. And also in this video, as you can see, the dog is detected as a product and also has an identity there. So this is a problem, and you say when you say your pipeline can solve anything, but then solve like a dog as a product, right? So you have to improve a lot, and also this is a good example of how we are working with occlusions, because I want to see carefully at this video, and I want to ask you if you are able to see the product. No matter if you don't know what product is, I just want to see. I want to know if you are able to see the product.
Not really. It's challenging.
It's challenging, right?
Yeah.
But our computer vision pipeline are able to do it. And this is because if you like pause the video and you see like slower, you are able to see the product probably, right? A little
All right.
blur, but you are able to see, right?
Right.
So this is the behaviors that we should apply to our pipeline, like the same behavior that you see when you see something in an image, and when you track something, because computers can be sure that the same product that appear in one camera is the same another on the same another, and we instinctively can say that, but computers know.
Right.
So this is a good case for occlusion, and also a funny example. And also we had another transaction here that I think is interesting to show, which is, I don't know, is there a party at this condominium or what's happened, because it took a lot of earth. And as you can see here, they are like grabbing a beer.
Yeah.
And the back is super close to the fridge.
Right.
So the time that you see the product is short. So that's why you don't just have to pass frame by frame your video through another detector and tracking.
Right.
This is not going to work for these cases, right? Because you're going to lose it. You're going to lose the track, and it won't work, right?
Yeah.
So this is why we have to really create a complex pipeline where you have like different components. Like you have to take in account the time dimension. You have to work with real data. We have to work with 3D reconstructions in order to know the 3D spaces and location of the product, and also depth dimension without having a stereo camera, which is a difficult task here, because this is really difficult to solve this problem, and you have to really design a custom solution for what we are doing, right? And also about the network, right? As I said, it's not just pass one images and you infer the images and you know what in that image is, because you have to know more about the context, right? You have to know more about the customer behavior and what the customer is doing around the product, right? So, and also we are facing the other side, the hardware stuff, because as you know, we are facing like the chip shortage.
Yeah.
So we have to be carefully designing our hardware, because you have to have like the correct lens. For example, you can just put a specific lens and put your pipeline and it will work. No, you have to design a specific. I mean, you have to have like a specification for your use case, and in order to work right. And also the camera synchronization, because we are working with multi-cameras, we have to synchronize all the cameras. That's a difficult task, because when you are working with grab and goes in condominiums, for example, you don't know what has Wi-Fi connections. You have to depend on mobile connection, for example, which is super low here in Latin America. So we have to face the problem, and we are able to solve like with better compression systems, hardware acceleration for the cameras. And this is really important for us, because if you really want to decentralize really retail, if you want to have millions of autonomous point of sale, you really have to solve not just in the software side, also in the hardware side, and make it cheap, right?
Yeah.
You have to make it cheap in order to scale this, and easy to install also, because we are not just preparing this to put outside the fridge. We are also have patent a design for cooler manufacturing if they want to put inside the fridge that we already start doing. I cannot talk a lot about that, but we started doing that also. And I have to mention that we are a fabless company, right? We have all the design. We are the proprietary, but we don't specialize on the manufacturing. We are more focusing on computer vision and machine learning and design the hardware, right? So as you can see here, that the grab and go is a universe by itself, right? You have a lot of things around this grab and go, and the main question is, what about millions of grab and goes with computer vision AI, right? How do you really scale this huge pipeline with all these networks? And and probably the first thing, the first thought that you had about this is, so I will apply machine learning operations. I mean, collecting all data for or grab and goes, validating the data, developing the model, and deploying the model, monitoring, and you said, okay, now I can put millions of pages because I have my my machine learning operation ready, right? My model is in production. I can do that easily, right? But the answer again is no, because when you start thinking about this, you have like two dimensions, like the computer vision pipeline trying to solve the all around customer behaviors, transaction, right? But for the other side, you have another complex things that we solve, which is the operation side. The operation side is a complex task, and you have to include this in your design, because what if some product tags change for Christmas, for example, or what if the retailer want to change one product, right? You have that impacts in all your machine learning pipeline, in the entire pipeline, but you have to change your model and retrain and do a lot of stuff, right? And if you really want to do that, like autonomously, for the first time, you won't be able to do it. I had to say this because or experience with real vending machines, with real people, with real data, and that's why we are setting of own levels of automation to solve transactions, and we had to be aware of this because aware of that we have human in the loop monitor transactions for what we are doing. So this is, if you think this is the same level automation as a autonomous driving, right?
Yeah.
If you see in autonomous driving, for example, Tesla just wants to put cameras and solve all the full self-driving car, the level 5 automation with just cameras. It's a huge challenge, right?
Yeah.
But because if you have, for example, some LiDAR sensor, you have like more of the levels that like solved, right? Because you have like more information about the sensors from the LiDAR.
Right.
And the same thing happened with grab and goes, because we are trying to solve a complex task, which is super hard to do it with just cameras. And there are other solutions that probably use cameras, but also use weight sensors. And with weight sensors, you have a lot of information. I mean, you just set the weights and you probably solve your problem, right?
Right.
But when you start thinking about scaling and when you start thinking about operation, this is a real problem, right? Because you have to calibrate your weight sensors. You have to every time you change the product, you have to change the values of the weights. You have to probably if you move another product to another stand, probably you will have an error. So a lot of problems that makes the system is not flexible. So we have, if we want to really have millions of point of sale, we have to be flexible, and the only way that we can do that is through only cameras, grab and goes. So then we start thinking about how we can design this machine learning lifecycle, and with order operation behind, right? So it's when you think for the first time and see, okay, this is like a part of the solution, right? And you're saying we can implement part of this for our pipeline, but the real is that is super different. Or machine learning lifecycle really like looks like more this. It's like a more complex task.
That's a lot more complicated.
Yeah, and I just show four of them, right? So, and we have a lot of pipelines to solve this problem, but those pipelines are super scalable. those patterns allows us to have the flexibility in the operation size, in the user behavior in the transactions, with the human in the loop and monitor transaction while we are crossing those level of automations, and allow us to improve really or improve our systems. So, and I will ask you again, why computer vision, but with two more words? Why only with computer vision? And it seems like quite obviously that because, as Satya said, with only cameras, with a cheap hardware, you are able to, I mean, a vending machine costs like around $10,000 to $15,000 probably, and have a lot more complicated operations. And this is just with only cameras. And we really see the future that the only way that we can decentralize retail is through computer vision. And we see that as a company, we have this solution for really deploy millions of vending machines around the world. And I think this is the way that probably the future is the retail is for us. So thank you for your time and for this opportunity to share with you what we are doing at Intuitivo regarding machine learning and computer vision.
So I have a few questions for you. Like you said, you mentioned a few problems, one of the problems you mentioned was that if a new product is introduced, then how does the system retrain?
Yeah, when basically we have another application which is an operator app. It's a wearable application where you scan the QR code to fill the product, and when you change, for example, one product or you have a new product there, the operator just have to appoint what product is adding at the cooler, and all the process behind is autonomous. I mean, we collect all the data autonomously, and we training models, we combine models, we do all those stuff autonomously.
But is it, I mean, the collection, how does it happen? I mean, does the operator give you some samples for the object, or you collect it over time? How does it happen?
Yeah, no. There is no example about the. I mean, we just has one example, which is the product image, okay. And this allows to the human in the loop to just in one short process that we are able to do it efficiently. They can like make some kind of auto labeling in order to have all this new product adding to the new catalog, for example. So. But see, you just have one image with you have your operation dashboard, and you add new product. Right? Imagine you add one product, and you add like a custom image for your web application, right? Right. This is the only image that we need in order to understand which one is the new product, and then all the automation will allow you to add this new product to the catalog. So that is why it's so complex our system, because it's fully autonomous behind.
Right. So that's pretty fascinating, because do you have a database of all these common products so that you can identify, oh, you looked at this product, I already have this product, I have already trained my system for this product because I have trained on so many products, right? Or it is actually one-shot learning where you're using this one image to learn. That would be pretty difficult, I would imagine, right?
Yeah, no, it's not one-shot learning. It's learning about the models that we already have from our learning machines. Actually, we have different models where we can work with different kind of type of products and shape those products, and that's how to classify so easily in order to tag them again. I mean, we are building like our own internal dashboard to make some kind of tagging, but in a faster way.
Right. So you have a very large collection of products already trained, your model is already trained for. So when a new product is introduced into the system, you already have it. You just need to know what the product is, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, that makes sense. Yeah.
So I've got a question here, which is sort of piggybacking off of that one. How often do you find products changing their branding and stuff? It seems like if they, if they change their label or the shape of the bottle, that would cause, you'd need to know about that ideally before they get into the store. But what happens when that happens? Do you have like a standard operating procedure for that internally?
Yeah, when you mean when a new product adding to the
Yeah, like say Coca-Cola does a new can design or something, and so
In
it
fact,
doesn't
they
look
did
like
it
the old
recently.
cans.
For Coke Zero, they changed the appearance of the bottle.
Yeah, and they
yeah,
rebrand all the time, just try different creative and stuff like that. How does that affect this this ecosystem?
that a good question actually that we have the same like a long time ago, because that is a common like something that happens always. So basically that we have flags inside our pipeline, and for example, is there a new product that looks different, we are having flags inside the operator app, and this allow us to internally make all the change and flag that product specifically in order to really have like automatically update that product.
That's interesting. I was thinking, myself, if it was me, I would probably be looking into some way to, I mean, there's like, Instagram accounts and Twitter and other, blogs and stuff that all they do is follow when Coca-Cola changes the can, or like when, when there's a new release from one of these major beverage companies before it hits the shelves. Like I would be, paying somebody to just read those blogs and save me the hassle.
Yeah.
It's better to be proactive than reactive on a lot of this stuff. You can go ahead and unshare your screen also, Jose, if you will. Thanks. So yeah, we've got about 15. We got some good questions here from the audience. I'm going to go ahead and do our giveaway here before we get to questions. For those of you who are just joining us, or if you need a reminder, the way this works is I'm going to ask a trivia question that I derived from the slides Jose did during his presentation. You're going to answer that question in the Zoom chat window, in the public, chat there. This one is going to be a two-parter, so you'll have to answer both things in order to win. What you will win this time is an Opencv course of your choosing, I guess. Is that what we're going to do? If you've already taken 101, you can choose a different one. Also, if you've won in the last couple of months, please don't answer. Give other people a chance to win. We appreciate you for doing so. So, audience, get ready to answer. So during the presentation, we learned a lot about this grab-and-go system. Again, these are two questions, so don't answer the first one before I finish the second one. How many cameras does the Intuitivo system use? And what brand of beer did we see earlier in the presentation? Oh, man, just
Nice.
annihilated me. Niraj
Yeah.
just like toasted my ass here, like immediately had it. Wow. Congratulations, Niraj. Send me one email to phil@opencv.org and we'll make sure that you get your free course of your choice. I really thought that would have taken more than 5 seconds. So yes, congrats, and we'll make sure you get that. Got a bunch of great questions from the audience here. Dr. Prem would like to know, have you looked into doing personalized offers based on other data, like maybe there's a loyalty card aspect to this or something like that?
Yeah, actually, we with our dashboard, I mean, with the retail dashboard, you can set up all these. I mean, you can do it. You can set up like your payment method, or you can set up like promotions or whatever you want with the web application, because this is like a one-on-one conversation with the customers, and you can change the way you are buying. For example, you can use a gift card instead, or your credit card, for example, or if you are working in a company, you can use your card company, for example. So all of these features are enabled are to do in our dashboard.
How many places are these deployed already? And yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, we had in Argentina, Brazil, Peru, and now in a couple of weeks we are going to start in United States also.
Oh, nice.
It's very, very cool. Oh, and so, sorry for those that were watching along and not in the chat. The answer to the trivia question was 3 and Corona. 3 and Corona. Next question here is from Anonymous, who would like to know, have you considered using, I've heard a lot of talk about event cameras in the last year or so, they're really kind of having a moment here. Have you considered using something more like event cameras to help, because we see the product for so little time in some of these. Do you think that that could be a bonus, a benefit to this system, or is it not really important for this use case?
The way that we are solving now with our pilot is not that just necessarily an event camera. And also because like putting the camera like this way allow us to really solve the problem like more easily than in another way, right? And also if you are considering, for example, you can use a depth camera, right? But probably sometimes the cooler is too big and the objects like from the bottom is too small and you have a lot of problems, right? So that's why you have to with your hardware have to have like a specific lens or specific cameras, and that's why we had to design like a specific hardware for our case, right?
Yeah, and I also feel that whenever you're working on a product, right, you should be at the cutting edge, but probably not at the bleeding edge, where you'll bleed money and not get the output.
They're really close to each other, unfortunately.
Right.
Yeah.
So so event cameras, for example, they can do, for people who do not know, event cameras are these very high frame rate cameras. They are not very expensive. I mean, right now they are expensive, but eventually the price will come down. But the idea is that they are looking for only changes in the frame, and only then they transmit. So, for example, if there could be motion-based event cameras that don't even trigger anything. They don't pass any information when there is no motion, and when there is motion, they pass information only from the pixels which which were in motion, right? They would not transfer information for the rest of the frame. And because so little information is transferred, they are blazingly fast, right? So, but the problem is that there is a lot of technology that needs to develop around these cameras before they can be viable. Not just like these cameras are also very low power because they are not transmitting much data. But the funny thing that we learned recently is that the power consumption of these cameras is not limited by the camera itself, but the connector, right? The MIPI connector, which actually consumes more power than the camera itself. So there are all these issues that need to be fixed or addressed for these event cameras before they become commercially viable. But yeah, for low power or high speed, those kinds of things, it's becoming an option.
Exactly.
Yeah,
because
I read our friends at Tanagram Vision written a series of blog posts about those that I recommend everybody check out. Go ahead, Jose.
Yeah, because you have also like facing problems like low light condition, for example. There are fridges that are putting outside of the condiments and you don't have like light at all. So you have to figure out how you are working with those kind of problem, which is a really huge problem that we were able to solve it also with our pipeline.
Right on. So yeah, we got so many questions here. People are really interested. Ulrich would like to know: have you considered adding other sensors to this, like say, for example, a commodity weight scale in front of the system that could detect if something has been added or subtracted as a secondary data point to help combat, shoplifting or people trying to be clever with the camera?
Yeah, actually no, because at the beginning we start with weight cells also, but we think that the only way that you really scale this is only cameras, right? Is to say that, I mean, you can have more data entry, more input for weight sensor, for example, and that's great because you solve most of your problem, right? But if you think about the operation size, that is a problem actually, right? Because calibration sensors or uh, have a specific planograms, this could be a big problem for the deployment.
Well, it definitely adds points of failure or points of ambiguity. There's anytime you add something to a system, that just means there's more things that can go wrong. And Murphy's Law, of course, tells us anything that can go wrong will go wrong. They were going to call that Nelson's Law, but something went wrong. So an interesting question from Toto here. If a person puts back, so say somebody tries to do the old Indiana Jones swap and brings an empty bottle, opens the fridge, puts the empty bottle in, and takes out a full bottle. Do you have a tactic to defeat this exploit?
The good thing is that we have, because we are working with flags with everything. I mean, if you had another product that is before you open the door, that row is flagged. So in order to understand that probably this is not a product for this transaction, and this is you have to probably make a review of this transaction or something like that in order to understand really what happened, right? And this retrofit again then your system to understand that some products that came like from outside probably is not part of the of your line, right? Or your line.
It's also, when you when you're building a product, right? It is not just the engineering part of it, right? You also have to understand the psychology of the end user, right? And suppose and there are ways to roll out a product where it's very forgiving. For example, if you roll it out in a condominium, right? These people are living there, right? This thing is right there. The number of people who will steal from such a system is is minuscule, right? Most people would not want to steal from their. I mean, the same people could steal if it is outside some other place, right? This is a service that they're enjoying, right? So theft may be less of an issue here, right? Plus their credit card and all the video is on file. So that also prevents theft, right? So those things, come into picture, especially with rolling out a product, which target market you are focusing on. But of course, if it is in a railway station or in an airport where nobody knows you, you are anonymous, right? Then certain people will want to steal.
That's probably true. I think it would be more likely. It's definitely more likely. I mean, there's been studies about this sort of thing that people are less likely to steal from themselves, basically, like in a way.
Yeah. And also we have I think this is great to share with you about one customer in Brazil at the first with the first grab and go in his condominium. He started working like a lot of fairs, right? But then he started buying like less quantity of beers. But at the end of the year, we asked him why he started like buying less beer, and he says like, I just feel like it's like my cooler. I just go down, just scan my QR code, grab whatever when we want, when I want, and just live again. I don't have the necessity to buy all the beers for all the week, right? It's just
Right.
like my cooler. So the customer behavior also changed, right? And this from this customer, I think he's buying like 200 beers in 1 year. So probably he's
Right.
Or
he's
or a Saturday night at my house, but yeah.
yeah. Yeah.
Right.
This is the way how you change also the consumer behaviors when you really decentralize retailing, and you see this is really a game changer in the industry.
Cool. Yeah. I think we've got time for one more here. Richard would like to know, what are your plans? What's the fallback for if, say, there's a internet outage or something like this? Like, how does the system handle that?
Good question. That's why our firmware inside our hardware are capable of working without internet. I mean, if you start a transaction and the internet goes down, you can continue to make the purchase, because you don't make anything of edge inferences. We make all in the cloud. So this is like you have differences with your transaction and your when the transaction was processed in the cloud. So we can be without internet, and then when we had again internet, we can upload the videos and solve your transaction. So this is also a problem that we already solved, because we are facing something. We're facing that here. I mean, I think you can build like a great product here in Latin America. You have more challenges, right? You have more challenges to face, and this allows us to really build a product that has like all the solutions that you think, all the problems that you probably think about, because
robustness is what you're talking about.
Yeah,
it's a robust product.
Robust product, exactly. Yeah.
Great.
So I have a self-serving question, one last self-serving question.
Right.
Did you learn computer vision at your university? If not, I know, we took our courses, but just to give a sense to people who maybe their university doesn't provide any computer vision courses, what are the various things that you learned? What are the various courses you took? What are the various resources you used if it was not taught at your university?
Okay, yeah. I actually explored a little bit of computer vision AI at university because I read a paper about an automation system, but it's just like a BG16 classification. So, but then when I started working with my first startup, I start to learn more about AI, taking course with different books that are online. I really put myself because here in Latin America we don't have like a specialization on machine learning. We don't have a specialization at all on those topics, and it's really difficult. It's really difficult to find some machine learning engineer here in Latin America. It's really difficult. Probably you have data science to work with data, but really the people who work with like developing a model from scratch is really hard to find here. But even though you have all the tools here, I mean, accessing the courses, and then you have like Opencv courses which I think is from zero to hero. For me, Opencv courses was done from zero to hero. I think you can start taking the course like just know about Python programming or C++ programming, and you can start taking the course from the computer vision 1 up to deep learning, and I'm sure that you are going to be able to build like a lot of solution with really having this and really studying with this computer vision course that Opencv has. So yeah, so that's it. I basically that's the way I learn computer vision all by myself. And
once you reach a certain level, right? Once you've covered the basics, you have a good foundation, then you can read papers, right? Once you are at that level where you are not afraid, right? The main problem is that when you're starting, you're afraid, oh, how much I have to learn, right? With taking courses, you this is how much you have to learn, and then you can go on your own, right? You can go on your own, learn the latest things, and build solutions, right? I'm pretty certain that, the course takes you so far, and then there is a lot more that you learn by yourself by just exploring various things that are out there, right?
Yep,
So
Yeah.
trying stuff and seeing how well it works and doesn't work, or just making a lot of
Because
mistakes.
that is the way here in Latin America. I mean, it goes like this way, right? You have to explore by yourself. You don't have like resources at university or something. I mean, you have the basis, but then you have to explore your own resource if you have to really build some solutions or great solutions. But I encourage all people that to take courses and to be. I think that the most important thing for me to learn more about machine learning, computer vision, and AI in general is to be part of a community, right? Yeah. I think to be part of a community is the best way you to build to first to learn more about whatever you want and also to build something new, right? Yeah, right. I think it's the only way that you can learn more. I mean, I think here in Latin America is the way that you can grow up with this with this topic.
Awesome. Yeah. Thanks so much for
it's
joining us.
It's very heartwarming. It gives a lot of meaning to our work. So I'm really happy for you.
I agree. It is always great to see success stories come out of the things we do, and it seems like Intuitivo is one of those. We're up at about time here. Let's see. Next week, a couple important things here at the end of the show. Thank you so much for joining us, Jose. This Friday, we will be the last day you can vote for the Opencv Spatial AI Contest Popular Vote. You'll get to watch all 10 of the top 10 teams' videos at opencv.org/vote and choose your favorite. By doing so, you will also be entering yourself to win one of 5 free Oak D-Lite AI cameras. You may have seen us talking about our guest next week at Microsoft Build. I was there. Hi. The Team Potato Lovers will be joining us next week to talk about their third place prize-winning entry, the Colorado Beetle Buster. Satya, you want to take us home?
Yeah, thank you all. Thanks, Phil. And thanks, Jose, for joining us. My voice is cracking up. And thanks a lot, our entire audience. Really thankful that you guys show up every week. Like I said, it provides meaning to our work. That's it from here.
Take care of yourselves out there. Take care of somebody else.
All right.
Thanks so much for watching this episode of the webinar. Please hit that like button, subscribe, and don't forget to tap the little bell icon to be notified when new episodes drop. This week's episode was brought to you by Opencv Courses. Learn computer vision and AI from the best at opencv.org/courses. If you'd like to be in the audience next week, subscribe to the Opencv newsletter.